my Harley's my thing. That's a thing that helps me own my power. Not only standing in my power, but you have to do that thing, whatever that thing for you is, that brings up your confidence level. Learning how to ride that bike, even after I dumped it and I had to go take that course, I was so stressed out. Man, I'm standing in my power now. I'm owning it, and you can too. Whatever you can do, whatever that thing is, do that thing. I challenge you. Let's go back to our little yard sale example for a minute. So you own your power by doing something like this, but then you need to go out and really do some training to be a master negotiator. It's not a light switch. You have to do some training. So here's what you do. You go out with a few dollars in your pocket, go to a yard sale and find an item you want to purchase. Ask them how much it is. When they tell you, make a different offer. First thing you have to do, though, is decide whether you think the price is or is not fair and reasonable, which is our second strategy, fair and reasonable. What is it? Fair implies a proper balance of conflicting interests. Reasonable means not extreme or excessive, so it means it's balanced and somewhat moderate, and that's subjective to you, what you think is fair and reasonable. You might not think the offer at the yard sale is fair and reasonable, so you offer a price that is more in line with what you think is fair and reasonable. You may go back and forth for a minute, but you are negotiating. You can do this. Let me share another story about fair and reasonable, about a college student out on her own for the first time. She rents a 500 square foot apartment. It puts down an $800 security deposit and moves in. Year later, the guy says, I'm going to raise the rent. She says, I'm going to move out. Well, in the state of California, you're entitled to a pre-move out walkthrough inspection, so they come and tell you what you need to fix so you get your deposit back. He comes over 2 weeks before and says, give it a good cleaning. She invests in a deep move-out clean, a service to come and do that, and he comes back on the final day and looks around and says, oh, I would have cleaned the baseboards a little better, but looks good. Now, based on that, how many of you think that you would have gotten some, if not all, of your deposit back by a show of hands? Yeah, pretty much everybody in here. Exactly what I would have thought, too. However, much to her surprise, she only got back $98 of the $800 deposit. Is that fair and reasonable? No. Let's take a look at the landlord's deductions. $235 for 13 and a half hours of cleaning. What did he use to clean the place? A toothbrush? I mean, half the deductions were for cleaning. $100 to clean those blinds, $65 to clean that carpet. Then he was charging her for things he hadn't even done yet. See, this is where you have to start and decide, is this or is this not fair and reasonable? That obviously was not fair and reasonable. So she made a determination she wanted to get about $400 back. She wrote a letter outlining each of the points that she disagreed with, actually the whole thing, and she sent it off certified and waited for a response to come back. She did some research. She contacted the LA County Office of Consumer and Business Affairs and found out she had a pretty good case if she wanted to take it to court. Also researched the California Landlord-Tenant Code and found out if she did take it to court and won, that they could award her up to 2 times her security deposit plus court costs. So she decided, I'm going to go to court if that's the way it goes. Sent the letter and waited for a response. Said, if I don't hear back from you in 2 weeks, I'm taking it to court. 2 weeks later, he calls her. She leaves a voicemail. She doesn't call him back right away because she wants to prepare for the impending negotiation. However, there was no negotiation. Apparently, he got concerned that she didn't call him back right away and the 2 weeks had expired, so he sends the whole deposit back. Give a round of applause to that college student, my daughter, Marissa Fernandez. Marissa basically stood up for herself and said, this isn't fair and reasonable. I need to do something about it. But the main thing, which is the foundation of negotiation, is that she asked for what she wanted. See, negotiation is about asking, and I call it getting your ask in gear. You have to ask or you're not going to get. That's the first thing you have to do. You decide it's fair and reasonable, you have to ask for exactly what you want. And then once you figure out, okay, I need to do something about this, the next thing you do, which is our third strategy, is to prepare in advance. What is it? The time to prepare for the negotiation is not when you are face-to-face with somebody or on the phone answering that email. You need to prepare in advance. You need to come up with your strategy and figure out how far you want to take it and how far you want to go through. Let's take a look at what Marissa did to prepare in advance. Next one, too. There should be a list. There we go. First thing she did, she owned her power. She's like, she called me up. Now, oh wait, I know what somebody here is thinking. Daughter is a negotiation expert. Obviously, she's going to get a good deal. But I treated her the same way I treat all my clients. She called me, Mom, you're not going to believe this. I said, here's what you do. I gave her the advice to go out and contact these organizations and do the research. She did her own research. She prepared the letter. I tweaked it a little bit, but she basically prepared the whole letter, and she decided she was going to go to court. She made all that decision herself. So she owned her power. She consulted with experts and authority, and then she verified the facts of what her case could be. She decided she was willing to go to court. If you decide you're willing to go to court up front, you better see that all the way through, or you're not going to be taken seriously. And she decided that back in the back. And then basically the final thing she was doing was she was calling the landlord on his stuff, which is a lot of times what you're doing in negotiation. That's why people don't like it, because it's conflict, it's confrontational. But if you get comfortable doing it, you get more comfortable asking. That's why you go out to yard sales and do the small things, because it'll help build your confidence and make you feel stronger in the bigger things. So she owned her power. She stood up for herself, and she got the whole deposit back. She wasn't expecting it. She wanted at least $400, but hey, took the whole deposit. They had a phone conversation, and he said, well, why didn't you just call me? And she said, well, I do everything in writing. She learned that from a negotiation expert. And we sent it certified, so obviously it was official looking to him. And he said, well, judging by your letter, you said you were unwilling to negotiate. And she said, well, I said to call me. And he said, well, are you willing to negotiate then? She said, no, you already sent the whole deposit back. He said, well, I see how you are. Yeah, we see how you are. Next. So, yeah, prepare in advance. Now, the next strategy is something a lot of people don't think is a very important part of negotiation. It's look the part. What is it? Oh, I forgot about that quote. Just go ahead. Forgot about that quote being in there. Look the part. Now, have you ever been somewhere where you look at the speaker who's on stage and you look at the program and the speaker doesn't look the same? And I teach this stuff. I just changed my hair recently, so I have to get caught up with my headshots and stuff. It takes a minute because I had really dark hair and I've now gone lighter, putting some highlights and stuff so I can look the part better. But there's that time where you're looking at the speaker, you're like, and if any of you did that, you probably didn't hear the first part of what I said, because you're like, is that the speaker? Is that the one that's in here? It doesn't look like her. The importance of looking the part and matching your marketing materials. Now, I must say that I didn't always look this fabulous, because for 23 years, I wore combat boots and camouflage. There's a couple more there. I thought being feminine and girly was wearing floral prints. Next one. Hey, I didn't know. That's what I thought. I didn't know any better. I mean, I wore combat boots and camouflage every single day, and then on the weekend, that's what I looked like. And I thought, hey, I'm looking very feminine. Well, floral prints is the furthest thing that I should wear. I know floral prints look great on other people. I am just obviously not one of those, as you can see here. But sometimes you need to invest, because I didn't really know that it was important to look the part. How you look, unfortunately, we're in a visual society. How you look, how you present yourself speaks volumes before you even utter a word. Some, people, we judge. We're a visual society. Sometimes it's important to invest in a coach or a consultant that has more knowledge about a topic than you do. I invested in two different image consultants that helped me with color choices, styles, and how to really look the part so I could look like this. And this. Looking the part is a very important part of your presentation. Not only as a speaker, but when you're negotiating with somebody, they're going to judge your power by how you walk in. And like, everybody can't wear black, but we as women get told all the time, wear black, wear black, wear black. And some of us look great in black, but some of us need some different color. I mean, blue is my brand color, but it's a color of power, it's a color of trust, but it's also a color that complements me. So I wear colors and styles that complement me, and shoes. I'm a shoe girl. I don't have to wear combat boots anymore. But before I get to the last strategy, I want to give you guys a gift. Oh, there's some more cool pictures of me. Yeah, that's my new headshot right there. So that one in the middle, that's the new me, which is going to go on all my marketing stuff, but it takes a minute to get all that together. So I thought I'd make a joke about myself, because I don't look like this right now. So next slide. So I didn't bring any books to sell. I want to gift anybody who doesn't have my book a copy of my Think Like a Negotiator book. Now you have to cover the shipping because I have to ship it out, but I'll sign it for you and send it to you. So if you go to tlnbook.com, I'd love to gift that to you. If you'd like a copy of my book, there's 50 strategies in there. I've only shared a few, but there's 50 strategies in there to help you, whether you're personal, professional life, multi-million-dollar deal, works on relationships, it works on everything. And my desire is for you all to have takeaways to be a master negotiator. So I think it's like $7.95 shipping. I'll stick in a little envelope, sign it, send it out to you, and this week actually. And you'll get it probably next week sometime. So love to gift that to you along with the 52 negotiator tips. Yeah, it's my gift to you. I want everybody to be a better negotiator. So now I'm going to share the most powerful strategy in negotiation. Stop talking. Do you feel that uncomfortable silence? If you can get comfortable with the discomfort of silence, it is one of the most powerful and effective strategies you can use in negotiation. If you really want to own your power, learn how to leverage the power of the pause. For instance, that 22-year-old without that warranty was me. And when I found out that not only did I not have an extended warranty, but they wanted me to pay hundreds of dollars for the repair, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I loudly pleaded my case in the middle of the dealership in the service department to the service manager, complete with people coming in. And he quickly ushers me into the dealership manager's office where I again loudly pleaded my case. And I stopped talking. It's not like I said, hey, I'm going to use this great stop talking strategy and it's going to work. I basically ran out of things to say and just stood there. After a long pause, he zeroed out the invoice and I didn't have to pay anything. This stuff works! Today I've shared with you 5 great strategies that you can use in your personal and professional life to own your power, decide what is and is not fair and reasonable, prepare in advance, look the part, and stop talking. There are many more strategies you can use, but I hope that you've learned some nuggets and had some takeaways that'll help you in your negotiation skills, both personally and professionally. I want to remind you to always think like a negotiator.
Great tips. Thank you so much, Eldonna.